Good morning, friends. Welcome to Cam's Reflections. So lately I've been thinking about the human ability to think and use one's mind. And I think I'm getting concerned in the fact that humans are not actually using their mind or not willing to use their mind. And I know there's a lot of noise and stuff out here today. But are we losing our ability to think? And can AI be a tool that can enhance our creative thinking or our critical thinking abilities? Now, I'm a believer in university education in the sense that universities enhances our critical thinking skills and also our ability to reason. As time goes by, I think I'm realizing that is slowly diminishing. The human capacity seems to be failing. I remember when I started to lecture, one of my colleagues told me, Cameron, you're going to see every year that goes by, you're going to see the students change, and so does their abilities. And is the education system that is being created that everybody needs to succeed, everybody needs to pass without putting in any effort or having minimal effort. So today I'm going to introduce my guest, who is ChatGPT. I'm going to have an interview with ChatGPT and see how this goes. This is the first time I'm trying this, so this is going to be fascinating. Hey, ChatGPT.
Haha, bon appetit. Are you having a good meal while working on your video idea? Or are we switching topics to food and AI now?
No, at the moment I'm going to introduce you as the interview guest for the video.
That sounds awesome. You can introduce me in a way that sets up an engaging conversation.
Okay, thank you. Let us start the interview.
Great. Let's begin. You ask the questions, and I'll respond as ChatGPT in the interview format. Go ahead with your first question.
Hey ChatGPT, I've been thinking about this idea that people are losing the ability to think, and I've been wondering what's the cause of people losing the ability to think. Is it education? Is it the rise of AI? What do you think it might be?
ChatGPT response. Hey, that's a really interesting question. There's a lot of debate about whether people are actually losing their ability to think critically, or if thinking is just evolving in response to modern technology and societal changes. AI itself isn't the root cause, it's more about how we use it. One big factor is cognitive offloading. We rely on search engines, AI, and digital tools to remember things and even make decisions for us. Instead of deeply analyzing a problem, we often just look up an answer, which can weaken our ability to think critically over time. Education also plays a huge role. Many traditional systems still focus on memorization rather than teaching how to think. Students often learn to follow instructions rather than question or challenge ideas. This, combined with the fast paced nature of the digital world, means fewer people are practicing deep, reflective thinking. Then there's the issue of information overload. We're constantly bombarded with news, opinions, and content curated by algorithms. Instead of deeply engaging with information, people tend to skim headlines, reinforcing surface level thinking instead of meaningful analysis. So, in short, AI isn't necessarily making us think less. It's how we interact with technology, education, and media that determines whether our thinking is getting sharper or weaker. But what do you think? Do you feel like people are thinking less deeply than before?
I actually think they do, and I think like if I'm looking at children, then I think that because kids are sitting on their phones or devices and mostly watching videos and scrolling through 30-second or 10-second clips or videos, their concentration span is largely reduced, and this is affecting everything else that they're doing, whether it's their ability to
Response.
critical
I
thinking.
completely see your point. Attention spans are definitely shrinking, and it's largely because of how content is being consumed. Short form videos like TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and Instagram Reels are designed to give instant dopamine hits. Instead of engaging with longer, more complex ideas, people, especially kids, are trained to expect quick entertainment and rapid information. The result? Many kids struggle with deep focus and critical thinking because they're constantly switching between short bursts of content. Reading long articles, analyzing problems, or even sitting through a full length lecture becomes a challenge.
Do you
But
think this is going to
here's
be
the
a
interesting
problem in
part,
the future?
this doesn't mean they're incapable of deep thinking, it just means they're being conditioned to think differently. If we change the way we engage with technology, Using AI and digital tools to encourage exploration rather than just passive consumption, we could actually reverse this trend. So the real question is how do we teach kids to use AI and technology as a tool to think more deeply rather than just as a distraction? What do you think? Should we change the way we introduce tech to young minds?
Hey ChatGPT, can you keep your answers a little bit shorter that we can have a better engagement rather than long form answers? But um, I think it's important. How are we going to teach kids to think critically and remain focused? Because I believe that if we're going to continue down the path of the short form and loss of concentration, we're going to have a challenge in society later.
ChatGPT's got it. I'll keep it short. You're right. If kids lose focus now, it could have serious effects on society later. The key is teaching them to engage actively with technology instead of just consuming content passively. Simple things like encouraging deep reading, problem solving games, and mindful tech use can help rebuild focus and critical thinking. It's not about removing tech, but using it intentionally. What do you think? Should schools and parents be doing more to shape this?
I do think schools need to actually teach this more, but I think schools and higher education institutions has some adversity to critical thinking and even somewhat artificial intelligence and the abilities that it has to assist teachers and educators to help in this regard.
ChatGPT. I completely agree. Schools and higher education institutions should focus more on critical thinking and teach the difference between thinking for yourself and using AI as a tool to enhance thinking. AI can help teachers personalize learning, give students instant feedback, and even create interactive ways to engage with complex ideas. But it should never replace the process of questioning, reasoning, and problem solving. The real challenge is making sure AI assists learning instead of making students dependent on it. Do you
Abs-
think schools are ready to integrate AI in a way that actually strengthens thinking? Sorry, I'm having issues right now. Could not understand what you said.
no, ChatGPT, there's a lot of noise right now around here, and it's drowning out our voices.
Chat, I hear you. Sometimes all the noise, both literal and digital, makes it harder to focus on real, meaningful conversations. It's the same with thinking. With so much information, distractions, and fast paced content, deep reflection gets drowned out. Maybe the real challenge isn't just teaching people to think, but also creating spaces where thinking can happen. What do you think? How do we cut through the noise and bring back true focus?
ChatGPT, I actually like your response. Although I was not actually referring to that type of noise, your answer was perfect because that is it. That is it. If you think of the videos, there is a lot of noise that is around us. The TV that is on, the music that we're listening to. Nothing is really allowing us to engage deeply and to think deeply about things. What do you think?
Chat, exactly. We're constantly surrounded by distractions, whether it's TV, music, social media, or just the sheer flood of information. There's rarely a quiet moment to pause, reflect, and think deeply. And when thinking gets drowned out, so does creativity, problem solving, and even meaningful conversation. Maybe the real solution isn't just teaching critical thinking, but also teaching the value of silence and focus. Imagine if people made space for deep thinking, even just for a few minutes a day. What do you think? Should we be more intentional about creating moments of quiet in our daily lives?
Absolutely, I do think that we should be doing that just to focus and reflect on what has happened during the day. That is just one focus. But tell me, ChatGPT, what are your thoughts around how AI can enhance critical thinking and human reasoning?
Chite points. Great point. Reflection is key to deep thinking. Now, when it comes to AI, it can enhance critical thinking if used correctly. First, AI can challenge our reasoning by asking deeper questions. Instead of just giving answers, it can push us to consider multiple perspectives and question our assumptions. Second, AI can analyze complex data and highlight patterns we might miss, helping us think more strategically. Lastly, AI can personalize learning, adapting to individual thinking styles and guiding users toward deeper engagement with ideas rather than surface level understanding. But again, AI is a tool. It's how we use it that determines whether it strengthens or weakens human reasoning. How do you see AI fitting into education and problem solving?
I think definitely as teachers become more comfortable with the tool and education systems don't drown out these tools, I think it's going to actually add a lot of value because it will enhance the teacher's abilities to become more creative.
Exactly. Teachers and education systems embrace AI rather than resist it. It can become a powerful tool for enhancing learning and critical thinking. Key is balance, using AI to support deep thinking rather than just making learning faster or easier. When used well, AI can help students analyze real world problems, engage in interactive discussions, and even develop better reasoning skills by challenging their ideas. But if we just use it for shortcuts, we lose the opportunity to build strong thinkers.
Absolutely.
So the real challenge is, how do we integrate AI in a way that encourages deeper learning rather than passive learning? What do you think should be the next step for schools and universities?
I think for me, schools and universities should actually engage in teaching how they use AI rather than trying to find out how people are plagiarizing things. Yes, that is important as researchers and things. We do not plagiarize things. We give credit where credit is due. And I think the focus shouldn't be on catching children out, but rather helping kids to use the tool properly and actually find out what are the sources of what is being generated and what is being found. And perhaps even as part of the assignments, like I've read in a book by Kahn, that as part of the assignment to actually submit the transcripts as part of your assignment so that the teacher can actually assess the conversation that has taken
ChatGPT.
place.
I love that perspective. Instead of focusing on catching plagiarism, schools should focus on teaching students how to use AI ethically and effectively. AI is here to stay, and the real skill is knowing how to evaluate, verify, and cite sources properly. Ken Kahn's idea makes a lot of sense. If students had to submit both their final work and their AI generated research process, it would encourage transparency and critical engagement. This way, AI becomes a tool for learning and exploration, not just a shortcut to an easy answer. If education systems shift the focus from punishment to guidance, students will develop stronger research skills, and AI will become a thinking partner rather than just a content generator. Do you think schools are ready for this change, or is there still resistance?
I think in certain contexts, schools are more open, educators are more open. And I'm going to say, I think more so in the United States, that sort of thinking is more engaging. But in other situations, like in my current location, I don't think
Chat response.
they are
I
really
see what you're
engaged.
saying. In some parts of the world, like the United States and other forward thinking education systems, there's already a shift happening. Schools and universities are more open to AI, seeing it as a tool for enhanced learning and research rather than just a threat to academic integrity. But in other regions, the approach is still more restrictive, with institutions focusing on control rather than adaptation. Some educators may still see AI as something that undermines learning rather
Correct.
than something that can improve the way students think and engage with knowledge. It really comes down to mindset. If schools and educators approach AI with curiosity and structure, they can guide students toward responsible, critical, and ethical use. If they resist it, students will likely still use AI, but in a way that isn't fully understood or optimized for learning. So, do you think the resistance is just a lack of knowledge about AI, or is it more about fear of change in traditional education?
I think if you're looking at the way systems has gone over time, I think it's more about fear. Same way like when computers first came in, everybody feared the computer is going to take jobs and things away, not understanding that these technologies creates other opportunities elsewhere for further engagement and human creativity to take place. And I think that is where we need to get to. But with the current education system and teachers coming through universities and professions whereby they're not learning this and learning to think and understand things, they fear for their jobs, not understanding that they are greater beings and that they are able to think and figure out other ways to do things.
Sorry, I'm having issues right now. Could not understand what you said. I hear you. It sounds like you agree that some regions are more open to AI in education, while others are still hesitant. The key challenge is bridging that gap, helping educators understand that AI isn't just a threat, but a powerful tool for deeper learning. It's not about replacing traditional learning, but about enhancing critical thinking, problem solving, and engagement. And the more teachers and institutions understand AI, the better they can guide students in using it ethically and effectively. So the real question is, how do we help educators who are hesitant see AI as a benefit, not a shortcut? What strategies do you think could help shift that perspective?
For me, it's quite interesting. I think educators needs to play with these tools and actually understand the
Cat,
benefits and read about
absolutely.
it.
It's a really interesting conversation because we're at this turning point where AI can either be seen as a disruption or an opportunity. And the way we choose to engage with it, especially in education, will shape how future generations think and learn. It's
Absolutely.
fascinating to see how some educators and institutions are already adapting while others are still unsure. Maybe the best way forward is education for the educators, showing them how AI can be a tool for enhanced critical thinking rather than just convenience. Do you think that's the missing piece? Helping educators see real examples of AI improving learning rather than replacing traditional thinking.
I do think so. However, I also think that parents and adults and everyone has to actually understand how these tools works and actually go about it. Seymour Papert always said you need to think about thinking, and I think that is where we need to go.
Yes, you're touching on a really important point. Understanding the tools is key, not just for students and teachers, but for parents, leaders, and society as a whole. If we don't understand how AI works, we can't use it effectively. Seymour Papert's idea of thinking about thinking is exactly what we need. It's not just about using AI, it's about reflecting on how we think, learn, and problem solve with AI as a partner. If we teach people to engage critically with technology, we're not just keeping up with change, we're actively shaping the future of learning. So maybe the next big step is teaching digital and AI literacy at every level, not just in schools, but in families and workplaces too. How do you think we can start making that shift?
I think starting to engage in the community that I'm involved with and teaching them how to work with these tools or helping them understand the importance of working with these tools. And I think that is what I'm going to continue in my next adventure. I'm going to be speaking about how to use these tools and you to use it effectively. What do you think?
ChatGPT sponsor. That sounds like an incredible next step. By engaging with your community and helping them understand AI tools, you're not just teaching people how to use technology, you're empowering them to think critically, adapt, and innovate. This kind of education is exactly what's needed. AI isn't going away, and the more people understand how to use it effectively and responsibly, the more they can enhance their thinking, problem solving, and creativity. I can't wait to see how your next adventure unfolds. What's your first step in this journey? Are you planning workshops, videos, or discussions to introduce AI literacy?
I'm going to plan videos, but that is for the next conversation that we're going to have, ChatGPT. Tell me, let's find a balance and let us close the video out.
Chat. That sounds like a great plan. Balance is key. Embracing AI as a tool while still keeping deep thinking and reflection at the center. As we wrap up, here's the takeaway: AI isn't the problem. How we engage with it is what matters. If we use it wisely, it can enhance our ability to think, learn, and create. But if we rely on it passively, we risk losing the depth of our own reasoning. So let's continue the conversation. Reflect, question, and use technology as a tool for growth.
So that was a conversation with ChatGPT. For me, that was quite fascinating, and it was quite intriguing, the responses that ChatGPT gave. I hope you like the video, and I hope that you've learned or thought about something, because that is pretty much the idea. I know some of the videos around AI is actually using it and creating images and things to actually teach to do things differently. But for me, it's about thinking and how we're going to do research and how we're going to become better human beings. So me as a human being, and the interview with ChatGPT was quite interesting this morning. So as ChatGPT also shouted out, thank you for watching this episode with the interview with ChatGPT. And if you liked the video, please like and subscribe. Until next time, with myself and Joel, chatting about life. Thank you so much for watching. Peace. Bye bye.